Good day to everybody, and I hope you're doing all right. My name's Rob, and welcome to Oil Painting My Way. Now, today we're going to be talking about canvas. If you're doing oil painting, obviously you've got your paints and everything. You're going to need basically something to actually paint onto. Now, that is normally in the shape of a canvas of some sort, which is a wooden frame, which has got either a linen or textured coating over it, cotton, basically affixed over the actual wooden frame. Or you can actually have a canvas board or something like that if you're actually oil painting, which are great for practicing. So at the moment, I'm actually using this brand here, which is Loxley. Loxley Gold, as you can see there. This is actually a fairly small canvas. The actual size of this is 10 inch by 8 inch. That is 254 millimeters by 203, as you can see there. Hopefully you can see that there. These are great for just doing little sketches, just tiny little paintings. I've actually given a few away, these away as presents to friends and family, just little scenic views of some description. But yeah, these are great. These are the ones I'm actually using. This is actually a standard, just a standard. It's double primed with gesso. I'd always recommend getting a double primed one. Even saying that, sometimes I will actually give it another coat of gesso over the top. I'll just get a very fine piece of sandpaper, maybe just to rub it down, just to get any impurities off the top, any little dried knobbles of dried paint or anything. Actually just give it a quick rub down and then just basically give it another coat of gesso, just to get that little bit of a smooth texture. This is basically, as I say, it's a standard stretched canvas, nothing special about it. 10 inch by 8 inch. Those are ones I'm actually using at the moment. I've also got Loxley Gold. I've actually got these ones, which are a long canvas, as you can see there. Again, not that thick on the side. Again, these ones are in size 20 inch by 8 inch, which is 508 millimeters by 203. Hopefully you can see that there. There we go. As I say, that again, that's a Loxley Gold. These ones I've actually just I've actually had in my stock for a little while. I think this is actually the last one. I've actually got a few more of these on order. I actually use these if I'm doing a long landscape. I just find these are great because it's just nice and shallow, just a tiny little bit of sky, a little bit of foreground, and just a nice long scene. They're great for that sort of thing. I did recently, someone asked me if I could paint a waterfall for them, and I literally used one of these and literally just had a waterfall slightly off center coming down the side with a tiny little lake at the bottom, just greenery all around. If I can find the image of it, which I have got stored away somewhere, I'll actually put that up at some point just so you can actually see it. But yeah, there was just at the top, tiny little bit of blue sky, literally cascading waterfall all the way around, green foliage either side, looked very nice, and the person was very happy with it. So yeah, these are great little canvases. As I say, again, that's Loxley Gold. Now, for the eagle-eyed ones of you that were watching in one of my previous videos, I can't remember what I was talking about now, but behind me I had a pile of canvas that had literally just been delivered. I had 10 new canvas delivered. Now, some of you might not have recognised the label. The eagle-eyed ones of you out there will probably recognise it. That again was Loxley, but this was actually Loxley Ashgate. as we can see. Sorry about the reflection. Try and get rid of the reflection off the lens. Not doing very good here. But oh, there we go. Loxley Ashgate, again standard. This is a medium grain. Again, not very thin. This size is 20 inch by 16. I use these quite a lot, and I will be actually using these when I'm doing the demonstrations on the desktop easel later on in this series. I'll be showing those because they'll be ideal for this situation. I can literally sit at the table when I'm doing the demonstrations and I can actually show you. So these will be the canvases, probably along with some artboard as well I'll actually be using. But this, as I say, 20 inch by 16, which is 508 millimeters by 406, which hopefully you can see there. Sorry about the glare, but yes, that's the Loxley Ashgate 20 inch by 16, and as I say, that was a new batch that I actually had delivered the other day. I haven't actually got around to opening the first one up yet, so I'll be using those pretty soon. I've actually only got 2 left of the previous stock, which they were actually not the Ashgate version. They were actually gold, like the previous canvas I showed you, which was these ones. I had the 20 inch by 16 inch version of these. I'm actually now trying out these ones, which is the Ashgate, which yeah, there we go. They're the ones I'll be trying out, and I'll let you know how they go on. Now obviously there's various or hundreds of different types of canvas out there that you can actually use, varying in shapes and sizes and designs and grain, and cotton covered, linen covered, all sorts. It's up to you to try out and see what you prefer. I'm just showing you what I'm actually using at the moment, and I'm getting along fine with those. I haven't had any quibbles with them. Sometimes if you get a cheaper canvas, the edges, you get a lot of bubbled up edge on them, where the canvas in the corner here, like for an example, in the corner here, sometimes where it's been stretched, you can actually get like a little ridge. Now sometimes, you know, that's a bit of a pain. You can actually get rid of it depending on the actual ridge. If you actually steam a kettle, open up the back, hold this part over the kettle and let the steam hit it, basically what you'll find is that the canvas will actually tighten up where the knot in the canvas is. So again, you might have to keep switching the kettle on and off, or basically hold it down. I wouldn't advise holding it down for too long because you don't want to electrocute yourself, but just hold it down just to get a piece of steam there, or boil some water in a pan and just hold this over the top, let the steam get up inside, and that will tighten up the canvas in the corners. So I say you don't always get those little knots in, but sometimes on the cheaper canvases you can, where they're sort of mass producing them really quickly. They're not as good quality, but as I say, there's always ways around things. Steam the corners of them, and basically you'll get rid of any knots. But obviously with canvas, there's various different sizes, tiny little canvases up to huge canvases. Now the 2016 size that I showed you will be the biggest that I'll actually be using in this series. Now obviously that's purely for demonstration purposes. I won't be going any bigger because it just makes it more awkward to actually film. So those will be the ones that I'll actually show. You can actually also use for practicing techniques. Just use a piece of artboard, canvas covered artboard. This is really thin, as you can hear. It literally just is a board. This is basically, let me just double check on the size. This is 12 by 16 inches. Again, it's gesso coated, piece of thin board. Oh, gone out of focus. Why have we gone out of focus? Not sure. Come on, camera, what's happening? Camera's decided to play up. Apologies about this. Don't know what's going on. Bear with me 1 second, I'll have to come back to you. Hello, back again. Not sure what the issue was there. My lens on my camera decided to get stuck out of focus for some reason, but I've managed to switch it off and sort it out, so hopefully there won't be any more issues. Anyway, where was I? Canvas board, as I say, this is size again, can't remember, I forgot from where I was. 12 by 16. These particular ones are from a company in the UK. These are called Jacksons. That's the name, and you can see the size there, 12 by 16 inch. This one's got they actually come in a plastic cellophane just to protect them. And as I say, these are ideal for practicing on, ideal just to learn new techniques if you're actually going to be trying oil painting out. And I would advise those because they're a lot cheaper than the actual canvas themselves. And you, as I said previously in other videos, if you are trying out oil painting for the first time, you might decide that you're not keen on it in the end. So what you don't want to do is buy loads of canvas, which is going to be fairly costly, when you could save a bit of money and get yourself some of these. Now, as I say, I've basically bought this size because these again work great for demonstration purposes on the canvas, on the desktop easel. But obviously there's no point me getting larger ones because it just makes it more difficult for me to actually film. So I'll be using those size on the desktop easel when I get around to the demonstrations. Those ones are the ones that I would actually advise you if you're actually going to start out. They're great, never had any problems with them, and as I say, it's just a piece of cardboard with a canvas over, so that they are fairly cheap in the end. Again, you can get small ones, you can get larger ones, so it's entirely up to you. One thing that I will say is you will notice after a while that if you've finished a painting and it's left for a long period of time, what will happen, the colours tend to go a bit flatter because the oil out of the paint actually seeps through the canvas into the board, and the oil was actually soaked into the board, so you lose a lot of the sharpness of the actual image. But if it's just a practice board that we're actually using on, then obviously what you can find is you can try something out and basically use the board again. You can basically cover it with gesso and then use it again if you want to try something else. So I wouldn't worry too much about the colour, and if you're actually going to think of an actual painting that you're going to want to keep, then I would advise to paint it onto an actual canvas. But for board purposes, as I say, I personally would just recommend just for trial and error, just use one of those rather than actually trying to use it for a finished painting. Now with these, as I said, you can actually just put, when I've painted stuff on here before for practice purposes, when I've actually finished, the following day I've completely painted the whole board with a black gesso, covered up what was previously on the canvas, paint it over with a black gesso, and then maybe use that as a practice for doing a nighttime painting. Or they're ideal if you're going to do something that's got a lot of snow in, because obviously it's a nice nighttime painting that you're actually doing, snow falling, it shows up great with the black canvas. You can't see the image underneath, and as I say, it's for practice anyway, so it doesn't matter. So if it turns out well, then maybe you can copy that style onto a canvas and hopefully you come out with a great painting. So basically those are the ones I'm actually using in the demonstration. 12 by 10, did I say 12 by 10? My mind's going, sorry about this. 12 by 16, sorry, for the wooden canvas, and the 20 by 16 main canvas, which I will be doing on demonstration as well on the desktop easel. So hopefully you found that interesting. Let me know in the comments below if you've got a preferred canvas, and if you basically like to sand the canvas down beforehand and maybe give it a layer of gesso. Put your comments in there. It'd be great to hear from you and see what you recommend. And as I say, hopefully you found that useful. Please give me a thumbs up, please give me a like, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Take care now, have a great day. Bye bye.